Welcome back. Today's video is going to be on my top 20 beauty products under $20 makeup tutorial. So I did this kind of video with like my top 20 under 20 like a year and a half ago, and I didn't do a makeup tutorial with it, so I figured I would kind of do that video but like an updated version using some of my current newer favorites that I love, that I use constantly to create this look. So I'll leave that video down below. I still love those products, I just wanted to update it. You know, obviously I'm always trying out new makeup and things like that, so I'll leave that listed below. I also have done a top 10 under 10, but it's just me showing the products. It's not an actual makeup tutorial. So I'm thinking I'm also going to be doing a top 15 under 15 like makeup tutorial, just like more of my favorite products that are all under $15. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and hopefully it is helpful if you're looking for some new makeup products that are super affordable and all under $20. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and outline my brows. Like always, if you watch my videos, you know this is my routine. So I'm starting off with the LA Girl Slim Shady Brow Pencil. Actually, it's called Shady Slim. I always called it Slim Shady because M&M. Okay, moving on. This one is just in the shade Espresso. I have a lot of favorite drugstore brow pencils, and this is just one of them that I think is really good. It's very similar to a lot of the ones on the market. It's really nice because it has a fine tip and it has a spoolie on the end, so it's just really convenient. So I basically just take this and outline my brows, and I just follow along with the natural shape, and then as I'm outlining them, I also spoolie through them as well. Then to go ahead and fill in the rest of my brows, I'm using the NYX Tame and Frame Brow Pomade, and I have this one in the shade Espresso, and I'm just using my e.l.f. Duo Brow Brush just to fill in the rest of my hairs and kind of give myself the illusion that I have thicker, more bold brows, because as you can see, mine are really sparse. So sometimes I mess up with my brows a little bit on the outer edges, so that's when I go in with my next holy grail makeup product, the NYX Full Coverage Concealer. This is just like, I don't even know like what else to say about it. I talk about this so much on my channel, like it's so good. The formula is just perfect for carving out your brows. I love it. So I'm just using an angled brush from BH Cosmetics that I got in a kit last year, and I'm just basically going to carve out my eyebrows. And the concealer that I have is in the shade Beige, and it's like perfect for me. I basically just literally outline my eyebrows. So I'm using my LA Girl sponge just to blend that concealer into my skin. See? And it's just like so seamless, and I love it. And I use a concealer also as like a 2-in-1 product, because I just take it and literally just apply it all over my lid as a primer. Okay, so now that the brows are on, that's honestly the hardest part of this entire makeup look, for me at least. So moving into eyeshadow, I love these Morphe palettes. Like, I have to give them a shout out. I know Morphe is super overhyped on YouTube. I promise you, I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not even an affiliate or anything, but I love these palettes, and honestly, I think these are better than the traditional like 350, 35K palette from Morphe. I have the 25A and the 25B, and honestly, these are so much more pigmented and softer and creamier than the other palettes. I feel like the other palettes are good for the price. I do really like them, but sometimes the shadows can be a little bit dry, and that they're not all really consistent in the palettes. Like, some can be more pigmented than others, whereas these, all the shadows are super great quality, and I don't have any issues with the mattes or the shimmers. They're amazing. The 25A is definitely more on the warmer side. I love this palette in the summer. It is gorgeous. I mean, you could use it in the fall as well, because who doesn't love warm tone shades all year round? And then the 25B is more of like on the neutral, kind of like purpley side. I really like this, so I'm actually going to use this one today, and I'm just going to start by taking the transition colors right at the top and just applying them right into my crease. I'm using a NYX blending brush, which I love. Shout out to one of you guys for recommending this brush to me, because I've been obsessed with it. It's really soft and fluffy, and I got mine at Ulta. So I'm basically just applying these like I always do, just as my neutral blending colors. I don't really know what kind of look I'm going to do today. Honestly, I never know when I film. I just wing it. Using a different blending brush. This is the Morphe M573, and I'm going to be taking the color right below that, which is another transition color, and I'm just going to be taking that pretty much in the same area where I just applied the other shades, and just really build it up a little bit more. So then what I'm going to do is take a flat shader brush. Let me find a good one. And what I'm going to do is dip into this more of like a taupey shade in the palette, and you really don't need to spray your brush. I always like to, but let me just show you what the colors, like the shimmers in here, look like with no spray. They're really, really nice. Like, they're so pigmented. I'm just applying this color all over my lid. And I'm actually going to spray my brush because I want that to appear a little bit more wet. So I'm using just my KOKIE Fix It Up setting spray. I like the shade because it's like, it's not gray, but it's not brown. It's like a taupe. It's like right in the middle. So again, just packing it on, focusing it just on the lid. Once I get to like my crease, I kind of go like back and forth in windshield wiper motions because I don't want to get that above my crease. Okay, so I know it looks really harsh, but I'm gonna blend it out. You know me. I'm gonna be using the Morphe M506 brush, and I'm gonna be picking up it's sort of like a red, brown, burgundy color. Tapping off the excess because it's really pigmented, and I'm gonna very lightly run that in my crease to not only deepen up the crease, but just to kind of blend the edge out a little bit, because I feel like from the lid to the crease it looks a little harsh. So I'm just kind of making that look softer. Like I mentioned, this palette is extremely pigmented. The mattes are not dry at all. So like when you dip your brush in, make sure you tap off the excess if you do have this palette, because it can be a little harsh if you don't. If you just dip your brush in right away and apply the eyeshadow, it can be very harsh. Then I'm using a different blending brush. This is the E17 from Morphe. It's a little bit more of like a smaller dome shape brush. Picking up the purplish color right underneath, taking that, kind of applying it also right in the crease area. Very, very lightly, like barely dipping my brush in. And then I'm gonna just blend out those edges. And again, I'm using my NYX blending brush. And whenever I'm like blending out my looks, I feel like sometimes I get too much product on my brush. So I'll just take a makeup rag and kind of wipe that away. See, this eye is always like, it looks choppy and not blended. I don't know if it's because like I'm right-handed and this is my left side, so like it doesn't always look perfect. So I'm going to just also highlight my brow bone now that I'm here. I'm using a pencil brush, and I'm just going to be taking the shade right at the top, which is like a very light vanilla color. It doesn't really have a lot of, like, it has a sheen, but it doesn't have like a lot of shimmer or glitter in it. So I like it because it's subtle, but it still gives you a nice little pop on your brow bone. So I'm just applying that with a pencil brush. This one is an E30 from Sigma. Oh, I love this color. It's so nice. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do my wing, and I'm going to be using another favorite eyeliner of mine. This is the NYX Matte Liquid Liner in the shade Black. This is probably one of my go-to eyeliners that I use. Ever since the Wet n Wild Mega Liner formula changed and the brush changed, I moved on to this, and I really like it. I know that the NYC liquid liner was also really good, but I believe that NYC is like no longer sold in a lot of stores. I'm not sure if it's like a completely discontinued brand. I've heard different things, but this one's the next best thing to that, and I love NYX. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do my wing as always. I'm gonna try not to do something too dramatic. I really don't like doing my wings as dramatic as I used to, but yeah, let's do it. And I'm gonna do a quick coat of mascara. I love the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black, one of my all-time favorite mascaras. I love this one and the Wet n Wild Max Volume Plus mascara. I think those are like my top two at the drugstore, but this one's great because like it literally will volumize your lashes. Even if you have baby lashes, like it literally adds something to it. Because I have baby lashes, but whenever I have like my no makeup days, I like this mascara because like it actually looks like I have lashes. And the falsies that I have today are the Eyelure Luxe Boroque lashes. I absolutely adore these. I love Eyelure lashes. They are the best ones at the drugstore. And I like to get mine at Ulta because they're always buy one, get one 50% off. Well, not always, but I would say like 80% of the time. Just for a bonus, I've talked about this eyelash glue so many times and you guys are probably sick of hearing it, but the Kiss eyelash glue, this one is my absolute favorite. Like, this is all that I ever use. The one in the white tube I love. There's also one in a black tube. Honestly, I'm not a fan of that one. I like this one better. I'm just gonna let that dry for about maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Pop these on and then we'll move on to the face. Okay, so now we can move on to the skin. So I'm gonna start off with 2 primers. So the first one is the Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot primer. I love this for mattifying the skin. I think this is one of the closest dupes that I have found to the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. Like, this one is really nice. Mattifies your skin without like over drying it. So I'm just gonna basically apply this where I need it the most, because my entire skin is not oily. It's pretty much just like my forehead and a little bit around my nose, like my cheeks right here. But other than that, my skin is like normal to dry it. And then I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. This is a really, really nice primer because it makes your skin baby soft. And I notice that my foundation just goes on so much better when I have this on. So I just basically apply this on the outer perimeter of my face. So nice. I honestly feel like this makes my makeup last longer too. It doesn't necessarily like obviously mattify your skin. That's why I use the Soap and Glory one. It literally just smooths it out. Then what I'm going to do is go in with foundation. One of my all-time favorite foundations is the LA Girl Pro Coverage. I have a whole video on my favorite drugstore foundations if you're interested, but I'm obsessed with this. So I'm just going to pump this out right on the back of my hand. I have this one in the shade 644 Natural, and I'm hoping that it matches me. Let's pray. I think it will. This is a dupe, in my opinion, for the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. This is probably the closest thing that I have found to that one. I love that foundation, but I know it's pricey, so this one's a great alternative. I'm using my Morphe M439. I'm going to really buff this into the skin and pack in the foundation because I want some full coverage today, especially with this look that I have on. So I like to go in with a brush whenever I want full coverage, like super, super heavy duty coverage, and then I'll go in with a sponge, just to make everything kind of absorb better and not look cakey. This is a great, like, I would say natural finish foundation. So it's not matte, but it's not dewy. It's just, oh, my phone scared me. Oh my gosh. So what I'm gonna do now is just basically take my sponge. This is the LA Girl one. I love it because it has like an angle to it. I don't know if you can really tell because it's really bright, but I love it. It's so squishy and soft. So what I'm going to do is just take the blender with no product on it, and I'm just basically pressing the foundation more into my skin. Kind of takes away like any cakiness that I may have, because sometimes with a brush, if you put on too much foundation with a brush, sometimes it can get cakey just naturally. So doing this helps with that. Then for concealer, you guys already know. The Ulta Beauty Full Coverage Concealer, I can't stop using this. Like, it's so good. I used my Tarte Shape Tape the other day, and honestly, I was like, this one is a little bit more creamy than that one. Like, not even kidding, this is incredible. So I am just basically, of course, going to apply this all over because it's so good and I love the coverage of it. If you need a good full coverage concealer, get this one, I'm telling you. It is just everything you need in a concealer. Another Ulta Beauty product that I love is the pressed setting powder in the shade Banana. This is the perfect under eye setting powder because it's not too bright, but it still really brightens the area up. And a brush that I've been obsessed with lately is the LA Girl 110 brush. It's just like the perfect dome shape. Just to set underneath your eyes, it fits perfectly in the area. So I'm basically just gonna set right under there. And I've been setting from the outside in, and I feel like that helps with less creasing. Sometimes I do this because like my skin isn't extremely like oily or dying for another powder. I'll just take a powder brush. This one is the Royal and Lang Nickel powder brush. You can get this brand at Walmart. And I'll just take the same powder and literally very lightly just dab it on my cheeks just to set the other areas. Like, I'm barely dipping my brush in here. It's just something just to set that area very lightly. I love this Makeup Revolution Ultra Bronzer. Like, I think this is probably my new go-to bronzer because it's, first of all, I love the compact. This is a great bronzer for me because it's not too dark, it's not muddy, it's just the perfect in-between shade, and I feel like it's not too cool tone either, and it's not too red. Like, it's just, I love it for contouring or bronzing my skin. So I'm using my LA Girl 104 brush, another brush that I have been obsessed with lately because it's like a stippling brush, but it's like domed and it tapers up, so it's perfect for just a very light contour. So I'm gonna take the bronzer, and by the way, I should have mentioned what it is. This is the Ultra Bronzer in the shade Ultra Bronze. I'm just gonna very lightly apply this on my cheeks. You see, it's like a nice shade. This side of my face, like my cheeks today, it's not cute because I'm breaking out, but that's okay. Double chin. Oh, another product I almost forgot. I always usually do this after my face products. I'm going to use my Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. I love this so much, and I think it's just amazing. Like for setting your brows, if you don't use this or incorporate a brow gel in your brow routine, you need to get this like yesterday. So I have this one in the shade Deep Brown, and I'm just going to go ahead and lock my brows into place because we don't want them melting off. Literally, if I don't use this tinted brow gel, my brows will melt off. I'm not even kidding. I used a different tinted brow gel yesterday and my brows were melting off, and it's like not all of them work, but this one works really good. Okay, then for blush, another Makeup Revolution product. I love this blush in the shade Nude. It's just their matte blush. This is the perfect rose color. I have so many favorite drugstore blushes, I'm telling you, but this one's really good. It's been like one of my go-tos because it's matte. It just gives your skin like just a nice wash of color without being too dramatic. So I'm just using a Wet n Wild stippling brush just to apply this right to the apples of my cheeks. I'm just going to be taking my Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter. This is a great drugstore highlighter if you're in the market for something that's just like the perfect gold. It's not too gold, it's not too light on the skin. I love it. And this one's in the shade 100 Molten Gold. This is like comparable to a high-end highlighter. Honestly, it is so pretty. So I'm just basically obviously applying this to the tops of my cheekbones and right above my brow, kind of like in a C motion. So moving on, I'm just going to finish up my lower lashes. I'm going to start off by using a Morphe M432 brush, which is like a really nice angled definer brush. It's really nice for getting in there on the lower lashes and packing in color. I'm going to use the deep burgundy colors that I was using earlier and really define my lower lash line. Really press those colors down in there. Oh, I love this brush. Then I'm going to take a Morphe E18 brush, and with the same colors, I'm going to just blend out that lower lash line so it doesn't just look like a line, it looks really smoky and blended. I'm lining my waterline with a really nice pencil liner. This was a LA Girl Glide Gel Liner. This is really creamy and very, very pigmented. I'm just gonna line my waterline. I'm going to use a tiny little brush. This is the Morphe E36, and I'm going to be applying a color right in the inner tear duct because I really want that to pop. I'm going to pick up the like shimmery champagne pinky color, and I'm going to apply that right in the inner part of my lid, or not my lid, my tear duct. Finally, for the lips, I'm going to start off by lining them with the L'Oreal Color Riche lip liner. I love these. These are so creamy, and they literally glide on your lips. Like, they're so good. So this one I have in the shade... Okay. This one I have in the shade 112. I'm using the Ulta Beauty lipstick, and this one's in the shade 258. These are really, really nice, creamy lipsticks. They feel really moisturizing on the lips as well, which I like. And I feel like nobody talks about lipsticks anymore because like liquid lipsticks are such a thing, which I love liquid lipsticks, but this is a really great lipstick. And if you are like my color, it's a nice nude. Last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and set my makeup with one of my fave setting sprays, the Fix It Up Matte Setting Spray from KOKIE Cosmetics, which you can get at Walmart. This is really nice because it's super lightweight on the skin, doesn't dry it out, but it still sets your makeup and makes it last. So if you can't find this brand, NYX also has a really nice matte setting spray that I love. It's pretty much the same thing, honestly, except just different packaging. I also love the Milani Make It Last, but I literally have like none left. Alright guys, so that does complete this look. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below. All details will be in the description box as well if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in a few days in my next one. Bye!